Starship's rapid evolution continues just days after Flight 8. The Space Force's X-37B rocket returns after a record-breaking mission, and Crew 10 successfully arrive at the ISS. My name is Connor, and welcome to another episode of Spaceflight News. Just a week after Flight 8, and there's already a wealth of updates on Starship's progress. The booster was swiftly recovered, safely lowered into its mount, and transported back for inspection and potential refurbishment. Meanwhile, SpaceX shared stunning footage of the launch, including a slow-motion shot of the Raptors igniting and detaching with engine chill lines. Small, but crucial refinements to their process. Booster 15's descent showed impressive precision, though slight wind-induced drift required last-minute tower arm adjustments. What once seemed absolutely absurd, catching a massive rocket in midair with chopsticks, now feels almost routine. However, as we all know, Ship 34 wasn't as fortunate. As it tumbled, high-resolution Starlink transmission continued, offering real-time insights. Post-flight images confirmed 2 Raptors had detached, hinting at serious propulsion issues. Flight 7 and Flight 8 anomalies suggest Block 2 upgrades might be the culprit. The redesign introduced 4 separate methane downcomers intended to stabilize fuel supply, but possibly introducing new resonance issues. With liquid oxygen depletion reducing dampening effect, vibrations may have damaged the engine feed system, leading to the future engine loss that we saw. Despite this, Ship 35 is set to launch for Flight 9 without any major modifications. That is, unless preemptive fixes were quietly implemented behind the scenes. Launchpad upgrades are also in full swing. Pad A is being reinforced with alignment pins reinstalled for booster lifts and vaporizers replaced to optimize fuel pressurization. The new launch pad is progressing rapidly, with deluge tanks in place and the booster quick disconnect gantry under assembly. Meanwhile, Ship 36 is being built at record speed, with its propellant transfer tubes installed just hours after Flight 8. Ship 37's Starlink payload dispenser has also moved inside the bay, signaling continuous production despite its setbacks. Beyond launches, infrastructure improvements are underway across the board. Highway 4, critical for heavy equipment transport, is set for its expansion, though not until around 2026. However, a new roundabout near the launch site is already under construction, allowing delivery trucks to turn around without entering SpaceX's facilities. With rapid iteration and aggressive testing, Starship is steadily evolving into the fully reusable launch system SpaceX envisions for the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Each test flight, whether successful or not, provides invaluable data, bringing the company closer to redefining space travel. Now onto other news. The Space Force's X-37B Spaceplane returned to Earth on Friday after 434 days in orbit. It landed at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, completing its 7th mission. This flight was the first to operate in high elliptical orbit, testing aerobraking maneuvers using atmospheric drag to modify its trajectory. The mission also carried NASA experiments and conducted space domain awareness tests designed to collect data on orbital maneuvering. In business news, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt is now leading Relativity Space. The company confirmed Monday that Schmidt has taken over as CEO, replacing co-founder Tim Ellis, who will remain on the board. Schmidt has reportedly invested heavily in the company as it pushed forward with its Terran R rocket, which recently passed a critical design review. The first launch of the Falcon 9 class vehicle is planned for late 2026. Meanwhile, former NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine is urging the Senate to quickly confirm Jared Isaacman as the new head of NASA. Bridenstine called Isaacman one of the most consequential candidates for the role, citing his experience in commercial spaceflight. However, the Senate Commerce Committee has yet to schedule a confirmation hearing. In planetary science, astronomers have discovered 128 new moons orbiting Saturn. Using a telescope in Hawaii, research identified small objects just a few kilometers across, bringing Saturn's total number of moon count to 274, far surpassing Jupiter's 95. Texas is helping SpaceX expand its Starlink production facility, providing $17.3 million grant for semiconductor research and manufacturing in Bastrop. This expansion, which is expected to cost $280 million, will help boost Starlink terminal production and related components. ESA's Hera mission recently captured stunning images of Mars and its small moon, Deimos, during a gravity-assist flyby. The spacecraft passed just 1,000 kilometers from Deimos, and is now on course to study its asteroid Didymos and its moon Dimorphos, which was the target of NASA's DART mission. Kira is expected to arrive in October of 2026. Now onto launches this week. China kicked off this week with the Long March 8 launch on March 11, deploying 18 low Earth orbit communication satellites for the G60 constellation. Operated by Shanghai Spacecom Satellite Technology, this network aims to enhance broadband connectivity across China and beyond. On March 12th, a Falcon 9 launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base, carrying NASA Sphere X and Punch mission. Sphere X will conduct an infrared survey of the entire sky to help astronomers understand galaxy formation, while Punch will study the sun's outer atmosphere and its influence on our solar wind. March 13th saw another Falcon 9 launch from Cape Canaveral, deploying 21 more Starlink satellites into orbit, further strengthening SpaceX's global internet coverage. The biggest launch of this week came from March 15th, when Crew 10 lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center, sending 4 astronauts to the International Space Station. The crew consists of Anne McClain, Nicole Ayers from the United States, Kirill Peskrov from Russia, and Takuya Onishi from Japan. As of this recording, they successfully docked from the station and began their 6-month mission. The same day, we had 3 more launches. Rocket Lab launched an Electron rocket carrying the Lightning God Rains mission, a synthetic aperture radar Earth observation satellite from a Japanese imaging company. Another Falcon 9 launched from Vandenberg, carrying a transporter rideshare mission with various small satellites. And yet another Starlink lifted off from Cape Canaveral, this time deploying 23 satellites. Finally, on March 13th, Russia launched the Ungra 1.2 rocket, carrying a top-secret government payload. While details remain classified, this continues Russia's effort to develop the Ungra launch vehicle, which is a family as a replacement for its old Soviet-era rockets. And that wraps up this week's spaceflight news. From major Starship updates to a packed launch schedule and new scientific discoveries, it's been another exciting week in space. Which story caught your attention the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you all, and we'll see you in the next one. In planetary science, astronomers have discovered 128 new moons orbiting Saturn. What the fuck? 128 new moons orbiting Saturn. That is crazy. What? That blows my mind. 128. Anyway,